Oh, you know something? I agree. You know, you have to be truthful when you tell a story. I think the more truth that's in these stories, I think more people can relate to. When you have these cliche, bad people, I think everyone can kind of see through it. So I think the more honest you are, I think you'll get a better story, and I think it'll resonate with more people.
Indeed, indeed. John Martinez, since we got you on the line, tell us a little bit about your project.
Yeah, no, thanks. John Martinez, I'm a writer director, like all of you guys, a storyteller. I like to consider myself mostly who uses a camera to capture these stories. My project is Escrow. I'm the screenwriter for it, and Escrow is a desert set crime thriller about a broke Scottsdale real estate agent who stumbles onto the answer to her prayers and then pays dearly for taking it. Carrie, our lead, is drowning. Bills piling up, custody's on the line, her life falling apart around her. And then during a routine listing appointment, she finds a dead body and two suitcases, one packed with cash and the other a locked briefcase. She makes a desperate choice and takes them. Overnight, Carrie goes from selling dream homes to fighting to stay alive, hunted by cartel enforcers who will torture her for what she stole and pulled into a deadly game where every decision could cost her everything. I look at Escrow as a as No Country for Old Men meets Breaking Bad. It's a
Mm,
fast-paced modern thriller and has a lead you root for because she isn't greedy but desperate. So it's the way I wrote it. It's gritty, terrifying, and then it's fun in a way because I don't try to keep it down. I try to give some little sunshine to it. And in
mm.
the end, Escrow asks one question: If you found a fortune that could fix your entire life, would you take it?
Hmm.
Indeed, indeed. I'm going
Yes.
to come back to you with a few more questions, John, but while I have you on the line here, you mentioned some interesting movies. You mentioned No Country for Old Men, and you mentioned, give me the other one again,
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, two of which are some of the most violent movies I've seen possibly in my lifetime. I've seen a few other ones, when I saw Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, that disturbed me as well. But going back to these two shows, do you feel there's an obligation by the writer or the producer to kind of tone down on the violence segment? Or what's your take on all this violence and brains being blown out and guts being exploded? What's your take on this as a filmmaker? Is that necessary, or what's your just take on violence in general for a film?
No, it's a great question. I think the violence needs to have meaning for it. You just shouldn't kill someone, as gory as you can. There has to be substance to why you're doing it, and the violence has to move the story along. I just don't think throwing gratuitous violence is going to really resonate. I think if the violence goes with our characters, it resonates more, and I think it makes more sense. But also, too, if that character is, psychopath and does things, I do think it's necessary, but it's not obligated to show the audience. I think it has to go with the story too for it to have meaning.
Indeed, indeed. We'll be back to you in a second, John. Right now, we're going to move over to Michael Thomas Kane. Take it away, Mike.
My name is Michael Thomas Kane, and I'm the director and producer of the feature film Top Hate, written by Joe Queenan, and it features Sean Young with original music by Kenny Landrum. And Top Hate follows Fred Astoria in Hollywood around 1947. Um, uh, and he's mysteriously been getting these death threats, and everybody's a suspect, including his rival Keen Shelley, his old dance partner Ginseng Roger, Catherine Hartburn, his friends Carmen Miranda Wright and Oscar LaVille. And in a desperate attempt to find out who is sending these threats, he visits a private investigator, Tyree Fingerlake, and eventually goes to see Janie Stompanelli, played by Sean Young, and she's a mob boss in the City of Angels and knows of most of the criminal activity going on in the city. In the end, there is a twist in terms of who is sending the death threats and why.
Mhm. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Let me ask you something, Michael Thomas Kane. You mentioned a lot of names that seemed rather classic. I'll say that. I'll call them classic, so to speak. Is
Mhm.
there something to gain from the film noir or the original idea of noir, or should we just say, to hell with all of that stuff in the past, let's focus on the future? Did you get any nuggets or jewels from the original archetype of neo noir, or noir, I should say? And what's your take on that?
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a great question. Absolutely. I mean, I'm a huge fan of film noir, the genre, the style, what have you. And um, I mean, I, in a sense, learned, storytelling and a lot of filmmaking from watching those movies. And there is relevance, right? I mean, it's its own little thing, and it's very smart, in terms of um, storytelling. And I I mean, you can learn a lot in terms of lighting, composition, all of those things, and there is relevance. But in terms of the characters, yeah, I mean, when we made this movie, although I was aware of those, original people that we've changed the names um, to, but I went back and researched all of them, and it gave me a chance to see, uh, in terms of, their personal lives and their careers, and incorporate that to a degree in this movie. I mean, we have to learn from history. We have to learn from the past. In order to appreciate what we have now, and sort of blend the two, moving into the future. So, yeah.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Michael Thomas. We're going to come back to you in a second. Before I go any further, I want to thank the good friends over at the Hunt Ghost Tours. The Hunt Ghost Tours, ladies and gentlemen, because sometimes you just need to scare a bitch. And now we're going to move over to the great, legendary Jason Holt, ladies and gentlemen. Take it away, Jason.
Thank you. My name's Jason Holt. I'm the screenwriter for an unproduced feature script. An early version is available in published book form. It's called The Professor's Outline. It's a slow burn academic noir set in a present day college town. A junior professor is torn between playing it safe to get tenure and his obsessive research into a mysterious author. He must also choose between his mistress, who supports his research, and his common law wife, an administrator who threatens to get him fired if he doesn't end the affair. He's thus torn between institutional forces controlling his fate and the work and love life he truly wants, with deadly results.
That was a very collegiate, it was very professionalism. It was professorish the way that you enunciated it.
Thank you.
Let me ask you, Jason Holt, since I have a somewhat of a professor of neo-noir on the line with yourself, what would you say to an up-and-coming neo-noir fan who's a kid in high school, who's got a runny nose, who's working on not picking his nose and things of that nature? What would you tell him to become a great neo-noir artist? He doesn't have the life, he doesn't live the life that you've lived, Jason. He's just getting his wisdom teeth in, or something to that effect. What would you tell him to be a great neo-noir artist if he's just in a high school and he hasn't lived much?
Well, I think my advice would echo some of the advice that's already come up. I'd suggest writing what they know into neo-noir, but only if it's a natural fit, because that will help them maintain an authenticity in their storytelling and avoid falling into cliches. The tropes are well worn, but the approach can still be fresh.
Indeed, indeed. That being said, we're going to come back to you, Jason. Let's hear from Vincent Scarcella. Take it away, sir.
Thanks, Carrie. Vincent Scarcella here. I'm a retired attorney. Don't hold that against me. But so I wrote, I've always been a writer, even though I, practiced law since 1980. I'm an old guy. And one of the things I thought was good when I was practicing law, because for 18 years, I was a guy who investigated bad lawyers who committed ethical violations and whatnot. I thought it'd make a great TV series. So I wrote up a treatment and a pilot script, and it went nowhere. And then I retired back in 2010 and moved to Florida from Buffalo Buffalo's sad today because they lost yesterday, but
Hmm.
I always had the idea of making this into something. I hooked up with a actor from New York City named Tom Polino. He liked the idea of having a series, a TV series about lawyers chasing other lawyers, like internal affairs for lawyers, for a change, instead of the cops investigating other cops. So we ended up making a feature screen. I wrote a feature screenplay. It's now produced. It's called One of the Good Ones, based upon my novel Lawyers Gone Bad,
Mm.
and it's going to be filmed. It's going to be premiered at the Dunedin Film Festival and released in February. So I wrote kind of a follow-up screenplay called Personal Injuries about a very bad personal injury firm, Craig and Craig, which is behind me.
Mm.
And it's basically about a firm that sends clients to doctors to get surgeries they don't need to enhance the value of their cases. And it's the protagonist is the guy who investigates other lawyers, sort of my alter ego. And it involves that aspect. Now, it's a sequel to One of the Good Ones, but it stands alone, just like all my novels. I wrote a series of 4 novels called Lawyers Gone Bad. And um, and that's basically the essence of the story. It takes the first film and goes into a continuation of the adventures of Dean Alessi, and he's got a sidekick investigator named Stu Foley, who's like is the sidekick basically, and that's the nuts and
Indeed.
bolts of the story. But it's based on the thing that I think this makes us unique. It's based on real life because I lived it,
Mm. Mm.
and all the law. I mean, I get aggravated watching TV lawyer movies or things like that because they're not it's not real, and I'm sure doctors when they watch doctor films don't like it at all either. But so I try to make it authentic and real. And I lived it, so I'm able to do that. So
Indeed.
that's my story. And personal injuries is basically Noir. I love Elmore Leonard. I try to write like him.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
and so the movie is sort of a dark. It's got some mobsters in it who are hitmen and so forth. So that's the basis, the basic story. And I co-wrote a movie that's out there already, and I'm hoping that gets made and follows that movie.
Indeed. Indeed. I just want to mention, Vincent, when you said you were a retired person, I thought you said you were a retired person. I couldn't hear exactly what you were
I'm
saying.
retarded too.
No worries. No worries. Take all kinds here at the
That's my
LMU.
wife.
Indeed. uh, with that being said, I did hear one primal moan from someone when you mentioned Elmore Leonard. But
Oh,
with that being
yes.
said, do you think there's a place for us centenarians in this society? Do we have to create something with a little Powerpuff Girls in it or a little WAP or what have you? Do we have to make it more sexier for the younger generation, our stories? That's what I'm asking you. Or are you just saying, the hell with it, I'm a grumpy old man, we're just going to do this my way, see, or something like that? Uh, Give me some intake on what we owe to the youth. Take it
Yeah,
away.
I mean, I am a grumpy old man. Ask my
Okay.
kids and my grandkids, but I think yeah, you have to make it modern. You can't run in the past, and I try to do that. I have Chat GPT. Everybody's going to hate me for that, but I try to keep up to date. The people aren't using telephones on the table anymore. They're using a cell phone. And I try to do that, and I try to infuse that in my writing, and I think it works. And yeah, I think you have to generate material that resonates with the modern society.
Indeed, indeed. Uh, I feel a bit of pushback coming from Caprice Castano. So could you speak up, Caprice? What do you think of what he just said there?
Yeah, I mean, uh I think like we should be I don't know. I kind of forgot what you said. What did you say?
Me too. Well, tell
I
us
don't know.
again.
I'm just mumbling. I don't.
Okay.
About for the
I,
youths, right? We're writing for the youth. Is that what it was about?
yeah, I'll pose the question again to you. I'll add a little septum to this. Uh, what do you think? Do we owe an obligation to young people to make our stories current, or should we just stick to what we know, even if it may be somewhat in the past. Well, do we have an obligation to the present generation to jazz it up or sexy it up or what have you? Just speak on that.
I think there's a way to kind of integrate both. I think subverting genre expectation is a good way to kind of integrate, you know, putting in maybe noir type things, but then we can flip it on its head and have things also be more modern within them, if that makes sense. So I think there's a way to kind of do it all.
Indeed, indeed. Since we got you here, Caprice, what's going on with this poster behind you? And tell us a little bit about your project.
Okay. My name is Caprice Castano. I wrote the screenplay Sangue Septum. It takes place in the 1970s, and we follow Detective Morrison as he investigates a ritualistic suicide of 7 women. All the evidence points to the group suicide, but as he interviews their husbands, he notices something is very strange. And they have some kind of bond that is deeper than grief. And as he digs into their reality, his own reality starts to crumble and stretch, and he doesn't know what's real or fake anymore. And we, as the audience, learn more about these husbands and their relationship with each other and their secrets and the power they have over each other.
Tell me, give me that title once more, Caprice.
Sangue septum, it means blood of 7 in Latin.
Mm, mm. If I
Yeah.
ever have a child, I'll name them that. That sounds like a
I
wonderful
don't know
name.
about that.
Indeed. It's a rough one, you know. You're not going to mess with Sangue Septum if he comes to, class and eats lunch with his peanut butter sandwich.
True, true.
Okay, we're going to come back to you, Caprice. Let's hear now from Marla Eden. Take it away, Marla.
Okay, hi, I'm Marla Eaton, and I wrote The Revenge Club, which truth is stranger than fiction. So it's actually loosely based on some things that happened to me or to friends. Basically, I consider myself a survivor of narcissistic abuse and emotional abuse. And I kind of reinvented myself in my 40s. I left a long time marriage of 17 years and moved halfway across the country to the state of Colorado, originally from Canada. And when I moved, I encountered even more strange things. And I basically decided this would make a really good story. And started writing it about 10 years ago and reshaped it, reformed it, and started off, well, and still my dream is to make it into a series. But it sort of started off as a pilot, then went into like a feature, and then finally reshaped the 15-page short just to kind of get get the meat and potatoes out there and still plan on like kind of reforming it. But it's a darkly comic and actually neo-noir. It's about a support group for survivors of narcissistic abuse.
Oh my God.
And it slowly transforms into something a little bit more dangerous where the survivors take their power back. They want to take their power back. And instead of just always complaining about things or getting support from each other, what happens if you actually try to take matters a little bit more into your own hands? And so it turns into kind of obsession when the women realize that some of them have been being manipulated by the same charming man, and
Mm,
secrets surface and loyalties start to fracture. Justice becomes personal line between empowerment and revenge kind of blurs. And the story itself lives in moral gray areas where trauma doesn't make you pure. And revenge sometimes comes with consequences. So I wanted to blend some sharp humor with mounting dread, kind of a little bit of like either Good Girls, Promising Young Women, Big Little Lies meets that kind of or even a little bit of Gone Girl, those kind of
I see.
influences with deception, power, identity, and asking the provocative question of when the system fails you, who gets to decide what justice looks like? You know,
I see.
how do you and well, at its core, it's women and a couple of men reclaiming agency, even if it might cost them everything.
I see. I see.
And
So
that's the idea.
dealing with that emotional trauma and things of that nature, I have a confession to make. I too am a victim of trauma. My trauma is my girlfriend will never get off the telephone. She continues to talk. I tell her my soul is being drained. I need to do things. But that keep that in mind. I'm going to give you that element. Then there's this other element. I didn't mean that, baby, if you listen to. There's this other element that I told her when we met. I said, look, you need a man that will never lie to you, who will never cheat on you, who's honest, who's loyal. And until that man shows up, I'm your guy, baby. That being said, knowing that about me, what gives you the right, Marla, to write from a male perspective? I assume you're a woman. I'm going to take that at face value.
Yes.
Why do you think you're qualified to write a good male character? Take it away.
Well, I've had a lot of male friends, so I also know that they have experiences, and so and also having been married to currently married to a good one, but having been married to a couple of bad ones, I feel like, you know, hey, revenge is success too. Telling some of that story is a good I feel like I earned it.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you, Marla. We're going to come back to you in a second. I want to go to the Attorney General, excuse me, the AEG now.
AEG.
Take it away, AEG. What's your story?
Hi, my name is Elizabeth. I go by AEG online. That's sort of just my signature when I do my screenwriting. This is my second script. It's a feature script called The Village Phantom, and it's Nordic noir, a cross between Fargo, The Usual Suspects, and Cold Pursuit with Liam Neeson. Maybe some of you have seen it. And it takes place, it's loosely based on the town where my mother grew up in Norway. So it's a cold, remote village town. And it's about Fiona, who's an ambitious journalist who arrives in the town to produce web series about a drug epidemic, but a local drug dealer just happens to die just before she arrives, and she becomes increasingly obsessed with investigating his death. And the problem is, in this town, nobody wants to talk, so everything is very secret and closed off. So she has to manipulate and try and get their trust and sympathy to get access to the truth. And then when the toxicology report comes out, it confirms that he has been murdered. And the problem is that everyone has a motive, and but nobody wants to talk. And then a second murder happens. One of the drug dealer's former runners dies as well. And at this point, Fiona, the main character, she's so drawn into this town that she has completely lost her journalistic objectivity. She's becoming part of what I called the village phantom, which is the name of the script. And it's when everybody sort of acts in sync, but nobody talks about it. And it happens especially in places where there's no procedural justice. So this is a place where there's absence of procedural justice. So there's a different type of justice that takes place. And in the end, it's going to have a usual suspects ending. So you will find out that Fiona, she had ulterior motives to go to this town and investigate, and things about her past and her family is going to be revealed, and it's going to be a twist I think nobody could expect.
Which nobody can deny. Indeed. AEG, what in the heck? Let me just be totally upfront with you. I've
Yep.
never sold drugs in Norway.
Mm-hmm,
What gives you the, unless you've sold them yourself, why do you think, and you don't reveal that if that's the case, but why do you think you're qualified? Do you think the drug dealers of Norway are going to see your movie and go, hey man, that's not accurate or something? What makes
Okay,
you
so
have good research on that?
yeah, so let me tell you, that's a great question, actually. Thank you for that. When I studied did my degree, I studied at the University of Bergen, and I just happened to live in student housing that was across from the park where all the drug dealing took place in that city. So we had sort of a prime view to all the drama, all the dealings, all the ups and downs, and there's just a lot of drama taking place in a drug dealing environment. So I would say, just based on that, I have some insights. Not that I use them particularly in this script, but that's the answer to your question.
Thank you so much. We're going to come back to you, AEG. I've received word that a great tragedy has occurred that we're going to remedy as our great, brilliant minds always do. Timothy Johnson,
Yeah.
Joshua Allen, Craig Bettendorf, and Dan Kofed, and Joe G. I need you guys, we're going to go in order, to repeat everything you just said, okay? Do it quick and beautiful and entertaining so we don't lose any lives while we're watching this. But Timothy, quickly take it away, what everything you just said.
Okay. I'm Timothy Johnson. I am the writer, producer, director of Behind the Black Diamond. Black Diamond, the log line is a veteran black detective and his brassy niece work with a tough white counterpart to investigate a murder case in a 1950s southern town. It's a short film, but also a proof of concept based on a feature-length script that I've written. And the feature-length script is available, as well as a pitch deck, 5-minute pitch deck. And that is available at Incremental, I-N-C-R-E, Mental Films, at gmail.com.
And where can we reach you, Timothy, for more good noir material?
Incremental Films at Gmail. That would be the best.
Beautiful. Let's go to Joshua. Take it away, Joshua.
My name's Joshua Mark Allen. I'm here representing the project Hounded. Hounded is a psychological thriller featuring cyberpunk and neo-noir elements. The basic story, in a world where genetic modifications define the elite, an unmodded fixer must navigate a lethal corporate gauntlet to save his partner, only to realize the chase was a calculated test to turn him into the very thing he despises. It layers everything from corporate greed, an authoritarian leader, and a wonderful relationship between the lead and his love.
Beautiful.
You can reach me at on Instagram, joshua.mark.allen. That's MARC. And you can find me on Facebook as well and IMDb.
Thank you so much, Joshua. Hang in there. We're going to come back to you. Craig, take it away.
I'm Craig Bettendorf. I'm a screenwriter and filmmaker. I'm representing my latest project, which is a feature screenplay by the name of Palo Alto Bang and Burn. It's a sci-fi, neo-noir, paranormal contained thriller that follows a young professor who is also a newlywed, an expectant father, and he is mired in debt. He's just drowning in it. He accepts a job during his sabbatical with a shady government special access research program. He gets in over his head, and we follow 24 hours of his life there, working for the agency. The story is rooted in our cultural obsession with UFOs and UAPs. Our early coverage from festivals has been very positive. My favorite is in a comparison to 2002's Minority Report, which is a huge favorite of mine, and I think one of the best neo-noir films ever made. In addition to that, as a filmmaker, I wrote it for the screen for those of us on indie budgets. It has plenty of twists and turns. It has a third act payoff. It is definitely contained, so it can be made on a reasonable budget, and it's doing quite well in the festival circuit. You can reach me at IMDb, Inktip, Stage 32, and ISA.
Now we're going to go to Dan and his good buddy here. Take it away.
I'm Michael McCallum, writer, director, actor, producer. This is an unproduced 20-page short script crime neo-noir drama called Bop Gun. It's basically about the lead character gets into a brutal fight and he is sought for revenge in a tough neighborhood. So we haven't produced this yet. We're putting it together. Dan and myself wrote it. You can find me at rebelpictures.net. We're really excited to get this film produced this year.
Go by the screen name DT Kofed. I'm a everything independent filmmaker. I run Exposure Film Foundry here in Lansing, Michigan. I co-wrote Bop Gun with Michael based off of his original story. And to head off a potential question based on a theme I've noticed, I am qualified to write about mob stories because when I was a young man, I did work for the mob. You can reach me through email, just exposurefilmfoundry@gmail.
Okay. We might
And that's
have
all
to
he
edit
can
that out.
comment
I'll think
about
about it. We're going to keep that there, just in case you're in the witness protection program. AEG, before we get to these next two guys, tell us again where we could reach you for some good material.
You can reach me at my email, scandinavianquill@proton.me, or my Instagram, which is thevillagephantom_movie. And you can also find me on filmfreeway.com/AEGG.
Okay, don't go anywhere, AEG. I'm going to come back to you in a second. Marla Eaton, tell us once again where we can reach you for good material.
You can reach me on my IMDb, Marla Eaton, or Facebook or Instagram, and my email is marlaeaton68@gmail.com.
And my friend in Septums, Caprice Castano, can you tell us again how we can reach you?
Sure. You can go to my website at capricec.video, which has a lot of my other editing, directing work, but there's also a page there for Sanguis Septum where you can request a pitch deck or request to read it. I'm also on Instagram as sanguis.septum.
All right, Joe G, the ladies' man, we need you to wrap this up for us.
Okay, hello. Joseph Greer, but that's not my real name. I'm a teacher. I teach 8th grade ELA, which means I'm a writer. My story is called Everyone Laughs at Charlie. Everybody thinks it's a like a biopic about Charlie Chaplin. It's not. It's a neo-noir. It's a lot of blood and gore. It takes place in the desert. And the log line is Charlie is a city-to-city drifter, a professional loafer, a bum tainted with hobo, slapped with tramp, and painted with loser, until the day he meets the mysteriously beautiful heroine Mary. The misadventure that follows not only tears Charlie's ho-hum world to shreds, it buries it in the desert and pisses on the grave.
Indeed. Once more, for good measure, where can we reach you, Joe?
I got a Film Freeway tag. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm on Film Freeway, Joe G or Joe Greer, one of those.
Indeed. And just for good measure, Hakeem, why don't you tell us again what your story is?
The story of the exchange is a spy meets with an arms dealer and tries to buy weapons, but he has an ulterior motive that is revealed later in the film.
I see. Where can we reach you, Hakeem, for good material like the one you just mentioned?
Reach me on hakeem2908@gmail.com, but it's better that you reach me on Instagram, which is Hakeem Khan Lifts.
Indeed. Young ladies and gentlemen, I need you for 1 second to suspend reality. You've already seen this bit, but I need you to laugh and be entertained like you've never seen it before. I can't let this joke be missed in this professional thing. So just bear with me and put on your acting spirit so we can get this done. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want a good ghost tour, go to the Hunt Ghost Tours right here. Hunt Ghost Tours at huntghosttours.com. It's blurry because maybe it's a ghost. Raw. Look it up. Think of Hunt Ghost Tours, huntghosttours.com. They got the best ghost tours. Also, I love this bit. I am an uncredited producer who produces great films, and I don't need the credit because credit can't buy you these lovely laboo-boos. Credit can't buy you these lovely fuglies.
Nice.
Credit can't buy you these lovely whatever the hell this is. Credit can't buy you the king of all of these things, the great Mr. Pug Willie. Okay. All right. I just wanted to get that in. Did you get that? All right. Thanks, baby. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what? We got a few moments to spare. I'm going to go around and I'm going to get from everybody your favorite neo-noir quote from a movie, your favorite line from a movie. It could be your own movie. You want to promote your own thing. You know what? I'm gonna give you two. Give me your best neo-noir line in the world that's not yours, and then give me one from your story if you want. And then I want you to say, well, let's try that first, see how much time we got. Take it away, Timothy.
Oh, I knew it was gonna come to me. Wow.
Hey, you know what? Hey, let me do a little quick revision on this.
Yeah.
Because my favorite neo-noir, I'm a big fan of this group, Steely Dan. I go to all their
Oh,
concerts,
yeah.
I do all this stuff. So if you got a favorite song line, you can skip the neo-noir and give me your favorite song line. But you got to give me your favorite out of your scripts. If you can't think of anything now, just think of a scene and your favorite in the world neo-noir line that you heard. It could be a song, it could be a movie, it could be somebody told you. Take it away, Timothy.
Oh boy. Wow. Well, now you gotta come back. You gotta come back to me, Carrie. I'm
Will
just
do.
total blank.
Joshua,
Sorry.
he ain't ready. You gotta take
ready.
it.
I'll be ready. I will be
All
ready.
right. Come on, Joshua.
From The Postman Always Rings Twice. With my brains and your looks, we could go places.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow. Okay. Who's next? Craig.
It would have to be from Blade Runner. Rutger Hauer said, "It's a shame she won't live."
All right. I want to hear from Dan, Joe, and Hakeem in that order. Take it away, Dan. And the other guy too, Dan.
I think the best line you can have is just the sound of a gunshot.
Ooh, that's a good answer.
I love it.
I'm the other guy, Michael McCallum. Too many to name. That's a really tough question. I think of great movies like Odds Against Tomorrow and The Setup, and there's so many great lines of dialogue. And I think of our own script. There's a really great monologue by one of the local mafioso characters, Mr. Turkle, where he talks about what he did to a dog that was biting him. And he says these lines of dialogue that Dan and I wrote that I'm really impressed with and happy.
All right. Take it away, Joe.
All right. There's so many that are flying at me. I'm just gonna quote Sweet Smell of Success, 1957, the cat's in the bag, the bag's in the river.
Wow. All right, Hakeem.
I'll go with Heat when
Hannah
asks, "So you never wanted the regular type life?"
Yes.
What is that? Baseball and barbecues?
All right. What kind of a life is that? I'm not gonna do no more. Take it away, John.
It's gonna be 7. David Mills saying, "What's in the box?"
Nice.
Wow. All right. Michael Thomas Kane, take it away.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of the cat's in the bag, the bag's in the river. So from the same movie, I will say, I love this dirty town. From Sweet Smell of Success.
Beautiful. Vincent Scarcella, take it away.
I'm gonna make you an offer you don't refuse. And from my screenplay, Sonny Foligno, a mobster working for Craig and Craig, says to the kidnapped heroes, "These them two bad lawyer guys."
Wow. You don't refuse or you can't refuse. Either way, it's something you
Either
better
way,
not
it's
freaking
good. It's
refuse.
good.
I like it. Hey, I'm not arguing with you, man. Marla Eden, take it away.
Okay, from Gone Girl, there's a difference between really loving someone and loving the idea of her. That's one of
Mm.
my favorite
Mm,
lines. And then from my script, my character Michaela is, as the cops are pulling her away, the voiceover comes on and says, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Ours, fishnets, formaldehyde, and shame."
indeed, indeed, yes, indeed. Take it away, AEG.
Okay, so this is not neo-noir, but it's my favorite, well, a little bit maybe my favorite movie, Out of Sight, when Jack Foley in the opening scene says to the bank cashier, he says, he flirts with her and he says, first time being robbed. He asks her, first time being robbed. And then from my own, The Village Phantom is when a boy at the skate park says he's going to jump across the train tracks when the time bends, because that's a key moment in my script.
Indeed, indeed. My septum friend, take it away.
Can I cuss?
Go ahead.
All
Knock
right.
yourself out.
So gotta go with Blue Velvet. Heineken, fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon. And then from my own, it's from Reverend Ramsey. He says depression is a luxury of the faithless.
Wow,
Mm.
wow. That's me in the corner losing my religion. Indeed, indeed. We're going to go to Jason Holt. Take it away.
Uh, I went with an obscure one at first because I thought someone would scoop me on this, but I'm going to go with forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
Oh,
Mm,
Come
yeah.
on, man.
And from my own script,
Shay.
at the end, when the anti-hero's moral decay is complete, he's sitting playing poker, and his final defeated line is, "I'm all in."
indeed, indeed.
Ooh.
You know, we're going to close this out with a great quote from the great legendary Raymond Chandler, who says, down these mean streets a man must go who is neither tarnished nor afraid. And that's all I got so far.
Mm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being participants in the LA Neo Noir Novel Film and Script Festival. How many more minutes we got? 10 minutes or so? Okay, we got 10 more minutes, people. Let's make this count. I'm going to go by each person, and I want you to give a word of advice. What makes good neo noir, and why do you love the genre? Take it away, Timothy. Oh, Timothy, we didn't get your situation. So, you
No,
ready?
but I am.
Okay,
Yeah,
take it.
well, it was stolen, but I did have Forget It, Jake. It's Chinatown. But from
Okay.
my film, from my film, Detective Roscoe Baggs says they work the streets, I work the alleys. So that was from mine. And
All right.
what was the other part, Kerry?
The other part is to tell us why you like neo noir and what would make a great neo noir story. I guess it's the same question. So take it away, Timothy.
Well, I like the dark side of life. It's not that interesting. The shadows are always more interesting than what's out of the light, because it's a
Mm.
mystery. And you don't know what's there, and so it's a natural attraction for me uh to be interested in what I can't see.
All right. Joshua Allen, take it away.
For me, I think the examination of antiheroes and broken people, the fact that even our leads typically are not perfect, but despite that, we can't take our eyes off them.
Mm.
Mm. Mm.
Craig Bettendorf, take it away.
I love the genre because it always drops you into somewhere that you think you know, and you come to learn that you don't know a hell of a lot about anything.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Dan and the Great Sir, take it away.
I think imperfect characters that wherever they go, fate trips them up. It's always more interesting to me than a Hallmark movie that has a perfect bow at the end.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
For me,
Agreed.
it all goes back to the old pulp writers adage, get into the story as late as possible, get out of the story as quickly as possible, and don't fucking flashback.
Oh my goodness. Joe, take it away.
Well, honestly, I'm more of a Western guy, but neo noirs they're pretty up there. It's an American genre, and I think that it's the tone, it's the mood, it's atmosphere, it's all those things. It really puts you somewhere where it's an adventure if it's done right.
Hakeem.
I like that. It's just like I said before. It's just a flawed character and an urban setting. It doesn't always have to be in America. It could be anywhere as long as you have those main two. It's like Max Payne 3 is a neo-noir story set in Brazil. So I would love to make. I think if you have those two things, you're going to be do great neo-noir stories. And then what was the other thing? Sorry.
Well, what you like about neo noir? Why is it your favorite genre?
Um, to tell you the truth, I like sci-fi more, but it's my favorite.
Okay.
But I love crime thrillers, which is why I love making neo-noir stories.
Yeah.
Indeed. John Martinez, take it away.
I like the blurring the lines between good and evil. LA Confidential, I think, is that one where everyone starts off as good and those guys are bad, but in the end, the roles change at the end, and that actually you see the truth. And sometimes the good has become bad, and the bad, sometimes has turned good, and that's what I love about noir.
All right. Michael Thomas Kane, take it away.
Yes. I think it's the grittiness of the stories, and I started out with a theater background, playwriting, and one of the very first things you learn there is, if you're going to develop a complex character, you have to do that in all honesty with all of their flaws. I mean, that's it. When you define a tragic character, the very first thing you're going to establish is that the character has flaws. Nobody's perfect, and those characters make choices and have to suffer the consequences of those choices. So I'm not here to judge characters. I'm just here to present them in all their truth and honesty, and that I would say carries over to even my screenwriting and any film that I direct. Trying to just keep that authenticity in terms of the character, whatever that is, good, bad, ugly, pretty, or whatever.
Indeed. Vincent Scarcella, take it away.
Well, I think it's the hero has to be flawed, the system corrupt, the ending surprising and ambiguous. That's the way I try to write.
Marla Eden.
Well, actually, that other person who talked about theater, I'm actually an actress too, and started out in theater before I went into film as well. And I know whenever I was researching a role, I always looked into like what is the main objective. And even when I play film roles, it's the same thing. What does my character want? What does the other character want? What's standing in their way, and what are they willing to do to get it? And I think that's kind of the essence of really good neo-noir is gray characters. I've always loved the gray characters because they're not, they're human and humans are flawed and we're not like we all I think have our limits and what we're willing to do and I think what's great about a really good neo-noir story is they're not afraid of moral ambiguity and it's about emotional honesty and consequences that feel earned. And my advice for writing those are just trust subtext and visual storytelling. So you want to let the audience discover rather than explaining it. I've always been a fan of show more, tell less.
I see. AEG, take it away.
So my best tips, well, for me, the best guideline has always been to make sure that I only write characters that I love, and and that I really love that, and that goes especially for the bad guys. So if you love your characters, then it's more likely that the audience is also going to love your characters. And if you don't love them, they shouldn't be in the script.
Good.
Caprice Castano.
Kind of what Craig was saying. I like that you can kind of put a protagonist in this world where they think they're going after one thing, but then there's something so much darker and deeper underneath that's being told. And I like how dark and deep you can get with that story.
Indeed. Jason Holt.
I think I'm going to echo what some of the other people have already said, but maybe in my own terms. I've published some scholarly work on the genre, and my working definition of it is stylized crime realism. And I think the best examples of neo-noir really strike that balance between beauty and menace in the storytelling. So that's my 2 cents.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the 2026 LA Neo Noir Novel Film and Script Festival XXL edition. The best writers and producers are here to give their takes on things. We're going to close this out with some great philosophers of our time, the Bengals, which said, "Some have a style that they work hard to define, so they walk the crooked line. But we can't understand why anyone would ever try to walk a line when they could fly."
Wow.
That being said, have a good day, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Noir Year. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, Carrie. Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys.
Carrie.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much. Bye.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.